That's just not entering now. Welcome to Global News on Signature Television. I am Charles Pius. In the headlines, Vice President Kashim Shettima says Nigeria's economy will bounce back in months. Defense Minister commends troops for protection of oil facilities. Former First Minister of Scotland, Alex Salmond, is dead. And Pope attends LGBTQ meeting urged to reverse church's ban on gender-affirming care. Details in a moment. Vice President Kashim Shettima says the nation's economy started improving and it will kick back in coming months. Shettima gave the assurance on Saturday during the launch of the Nasarawa State Human Capital Development Strategy document and Gender Transformative Human Capital Development Policy Framework held in Lafia, the state's capital. He vowed that the growing informal sector and low labor force participation occasioned by the staggering unemployment rates in Nigeria must be reversed. This, he said, is the impression of an unfavorable society which the Human Capital Development Program was designed to avert under President Bola Tinubu's administration. He emphasized that the Tinubu's administration's goal was to empower Nigerians with globally competitive skills. He noted the strategy would enable Nigerian workers to excel both domestically and in the international job market. Meanwhile, the Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Mohammed Matawali, has condemned recent statements made by the former Rivers State Governor and former Transport Minister Rotimi Amechi, accusing him of inciting violence and unrest among the Nigerian populace. Matawali, in a statement released on Saturday, issued a stern warning to Amechi, telling him to desist from making inflammatory statements that threaten the peace and stability of the nation and expressed deep concern over the dangers posed by such rhetoric. He said it was both reckless and irresponsible for a former public servant of Amechi's standing to incite Nigerians against their own government at a time when President Bola Tinubu is working tirelessly to address the challenges facing the nation through the various reforms that are yielding results. The minister reiterated President Bola Tinubu's commitment to safeguarding the peace and security of every Nigerian, warning that any attempts to destabilize the country through incitement will not be tolerated. A support group of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, the Nigeria Youth for Atiku, has called on President Bola Tinubu to take steps towards reversing the recent hike in the pump price of petrol. The Director of Public Relations of NYFA, Mr. Dare Dada, made this call in a statement on Saturday in Lagos. Dada said the reversal had become imperative owing to the challenges many Nigerians were facing as a result of the problems in the economy. The spokesman added that the call was part of the resolutions reached at the group's emergency meeting held on Friday in Lagos. According to him, having critically reviewed the state of the nation, NYFA has come to the conclusion that anything that could increase hardship should not come at this time. According to him, all advanced countries subsidize the cost of living for their citizens, either directly or indirectly, and that the country can do the same. He said that there was always a take-back stage in such countries by way of tax refund, tax holiday, and child support. Meanwhile, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Heineken Lipoberi, has commended the progress of work on the floating production storage and offloading facility in Lagos, a joint venture between Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and Century Nigeria Limited in partnership with West African Exploration and Production Company and NNPC Energy Services Limited. The Bobiri, who carried out an inspection visit to the site, expressed satisfaction with the strides made, emphasizing that the facility has the potential to boost Nigeria's crude oil production by an additional 40,000 barrels per day. The project is one of the measures arising from the minister's engagements with NNPCL, in line with the President Bola Tinubu's directive for increased production, and it is strategically designed to enhance local capacity and drive further investment into the nation's oil sector. The Bobiri commended the collaboration between NNPCL, Century Group, and other partners, identifying the projects as a critical element in Nigeria's efforts to significantly increase crude production and meet global demands. He further underscored the importance of increasing Nigeria's oil output, highlighting the government's commitments to supporting partnerships that aim to revitalize the sector. The 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has urged President Bola Tinubu to reverse the sudden hike in the pump price of fuel, describing it as insensitive and unfortunate. Posting on X, Obi said the sudden hike in the pump price of fuel would have a negative impact on Nigeria's economic survival. Obi regretted that even when Nigerians continue to grow under extremely difficult economic conditions, largely caused by the federal government's wrong policy choices, the NNPCL decided to once again raise the price of fuel without providing any explanation. He observed that there is neither sound economics nor necessary compassion to justify the incessant increases, which has brought untold hardship to millions of Nigerians. The former Anambra governor said that the NNPCL and the regulatory agencies are supposed to be under the supervision of the Federal Minister of Petroleum Resources, with the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria serving as a substantive minister, and wondered who is regulating the agencies at the moment. Obi wondered why President Tinubu decided to casually inflict such a draconian measure on the populace from the comfort of an annual vacation, which he observed amounts to taking the people's welfare lightly and for granted. Meanwhile, spokesperson of Nigerian Opposition Lawmakers Coalition, Ikenga Ugochinyere, has said that a court order didn't stop the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) before they sacked the acting national chairman, Ilia Damagon. He said there was no federal or state high court's order before the long overdue removal of Damagon as PDP chairman. Justice Peter Alifu of the Federal High Court in Abuja on Friday restrained the National Executive Committee and Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party from removing Ambassador Umar Damagom as the acting national chairman of the party. But reacting to the development, Ugochinyere faulted the judgment, saying that court order didn't stop the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) before they sacked the acting national chairman, Ilia Damagon.
Compliance with the provision of the party constitution, and the National Working Committee invoking the necessary provision under Article 57 sub 7 and 58 sub 1, which gives the party the powers to look into disciplinary actions against members of the National Executive Committee, that they acted invoking those powers given them under Article 29, where they acted, the NWC acted on behalf of the NEC to invoke the provisions of Article 57 and
He said that Justice Lifu order in favor of pro-Wike APC-backed PDP faction came after Damagon has been suspended. Kill my mic now.
By the ordinary man, that justice must be seen to have been done in that judgment. That is the capital. When you debase that, when you destroy that, and then tell people come in any injunction you grant, from the same Federal High Court that gave a rule on political expertise. Now, expertise applications are flying like the missile Israel is firing into Iran. From the Federal High Court. Bam, bam, left, right, and center. When you think they should stop, they continue. And the new CJN have not picked up his phone to call the CJ and say, what is going on with this ex-parte? Is it that you people cook it overnight or what? On every political issue, they come and then you issue it today. It's on that line that we are shocked when after the NWC have met, consider the heinous case of anti-party activities against Omar Damago and his gang and suspended them.
He said that Alhaji Yayari Ahmed Mohammed remains the acting chairman while the party awaits the NEC meeting later this month. He, however, urged the court to stay away from internal party affairs.
National. In steadfast, what is the offense of our publicity secretary? He issued a statement that the election in Rivers local government election must be allowed to go on. One big man somewhere saw it as an affront because he is in APC, he's in PDP, he owns the two parties. And they say, oh, the public secretary must be sidelined. What is the offense of the legal advisor? He wrote a letter that the case that if it is successful, we see our own governor removed by people who are no longer lawmakers. He filed to discontinue that suit in the exercise of his constitutional power under the party constitution. The big man feels, oh, the legal advisor should be removed. That is why they attempted the belated attempt to remove them, which failed. So the NWC is now owned, but thank God that these great NWC members has proved to the whole world that this NWC is not owned by anybody.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has announced plans to officially launch its campaign for the upcoming Ondo State governorship elections with a flag of events scheduled for Tuesday, October 15, 2024. This was disclosed in a statement by the party's National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunaba, in Abuja. Ologunaba extended an invitation to all party organs, leaders, members, supporters, and the general public to participate in the event, which marks the beginning of what the party expects to be a victorious campaign leading up to the November 16, 2024 governorship elections in Ondo State. He also urged PDP members to remain united in their efforts to secure victory, noting that the people of Ondo State are eager for a PDP-led government. Governor Biodun Waloyebanji of the Ekiti State said workers in the state's service would be paid 70,000 naira minimum wage, while consequential adjustments would be added to pensions. Oyebanji made the announcement during the 2024 Pensioners' Day held in Ado Ekiti, which marks the beginning of activities for the second anniversary of his administration. The governor said that his administration was resolved to make the life better for the people, adding that the minimum wage has become a law binding on all states. At the occasion, Oyebanji presented checks of the value of 3.5 billion naira to 829 pensioners who retired between 2014 and March 2015. He highlighted some of the programs initiated for the senior citizens to include the free health insurance scheme for pensioners. Oyebanji explained that a sum of over 70 billion naira has been released in defraying the payments of gratuities and urged the retirees to continue to pray for the success of his administration. The chairman of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, Mr. Kolapo Olatunji, showered a encomium on the Oyebanji-led government for bringing succor and hope to the retirees. The state head of service, Dr. Folakemi Olumojobi, thanked the pensioners for their support for the government over the years. Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa of Ondo State on Saturday paid 73,000 naira, said 73,000 naira will be paid as new minimum wage for workers in the state. Ayedatiwa made the announcement at the flag-off of his campaign in Ondo town for the November 16 governorship elections in the state. The flag-off campaign, which kicked off in Ondo West local government area of the state, had many past chieftains in attendance. Ayedatiwa, who announced the new minimum wage, said it was important for people of the state to vote for him to enable him to continue the good he is currently doing. He said the 73,000 naira new minimum wage was part of the fulfillment of his promise to ensure workers in the state enjoy dividends of democracy and lived a better life. The Kano State Anti-Corruption and Public Complaints Commission has commenced investigation into an alleged foreign scholarship fraud worth 1.5 billion naira. The commission is questioning two top officials of the State Ministry of Higher Education regarding the issue of 1,101 students supposedly sponsored by the state government for postgraduate studies in India and Kenya. Governor Abba Yusuf, who initiated the government foreign scholarship scheme and recently hosted a farewell dinner for the first batch of 550 beneficiaries of the scholarship at the government house, commending former Governor Rabiu Kwangoso for introducing the scheme. However, only 418 students were actually sent abroad for studies, raising questions about the whereabouts of the remaining students. When contacted, the Commission's Public Relations Officer, Kabiru, confirmed the report, saying that two top officials were interrogated over the alleged scholarship scam, assuring that whoever is found to have involved would be prosecuted no matter his position. Meanwhile, the governor of Adamawa State, Amadou Fintiri, has said that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission should not be scrapped, but rather strengthened for better efficiency. This came in response to a suit filed at the Supreme Court by 16 state governors challenging the legality of laws establishing the commission. Fintiri, who spoke on a live television program, stated that this is not the right time to abolish the EFCC, whether it was established rightly or wrongly, and stated that it should be made to work better by removing the politics that sometimes leads to claims of witch hunting. He also criticized the practice of the federal government taking custody of funds seized from states, calling it a wrong practice. The governor said he would decide whether to join the suit after reviewing it with his Attorney General. Meanwhile, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is empowering over 25,500 youths and women in agricultural entrepreneurship across the Niger Delta states. Speaking to newsmen in Owerri, Imo State capital, the National Projects Coordinator, Dr. Abiodun Sani, said the working session under the Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprises Niger Delta project is being funded by the International Fund for Agricultural Development. Sani, represented by his technical assistant, Bumi Ogunleye, said that the project has participating states from Niger Delta, which would access the $60 million loan funded by IFAD, which has two phases of 6 years and a 12-year lifespan, with phase one of 6 years and which started in 2019. The 6 states that started in 2019 were Abia, Bayelsa, Ondo, Cross River, Edo, and Delta states, while Imo, Akwa Ibom, and Rivers were activated in 2024, bringing the participating states for the project to 9 states. He said the empowerment of the participating youths and women is being done across selected commodities of cassava, plantain, fish, rice, cocoa, meal, oil, palm, and poultry, and across the value chain, which are production, processing, and building their capacity to market the products. The training will further strengthen and build the capacity of selected few of proper record keeping and documentation in business. Still to come, Ebonyi State Police Command engages stakeholders to maintain law and order. Johesu raises alarm over a deteriorating health situation in Nigeria. Details shortly. Guys, door. What's the problem?
No sound inside there. No in-house sound. So they are battling to follow you up. So we want to see if we can restore the sound.
I mean, tell us me more topic.
Water. You need water. Your face shine this morning.
Huh?
Your face sweet this morning. You look sweet.
What I go do that? Thank you.
Just if they admire you there, say all you do your face. Yeah, we don't chop rice and chicken this anymore.
Are we back? Are we back? we back with Welcome back. You're watching Global News on Signature Television. The Joint Health Sector Unions and Assembly of Healthcare Professionals has urged the federal government to pay greater attention to the health sector to halt further decline in the quality of health available to Nigerians. A member of the Association on Immediate Past National Public Relations Officer of the Nigerian Union of Allied Health Professionals, Chukwuemeka Ohiokwiro, who featured on New Day, a breakfast program on Signature TV, advised this federal government to take the full responsibility of addressing ills affecting the health sector. He said it was absurd for the government to show nonchalance in the face of a near crisis situation that affects the health of its citizens.
Can afford better life. I can tell you comfortably, the kind of poverty amongst our members now, we have never seen before. People can no longer even take their kids to school. So we have demanded from federal government, we have met so many agreements, bargainings, and the rest of them. What we are now is at the implementation level. Discussions have been ongoing, we have met with so many committees. What we are now is at the implementation level. And we have watched government.
Ohegwe recalled that the health workers had issued a 15-day ultimatum to the federal government to resolve its pending welfare issues, or they will embark on an industrial action. He said the health workers are unable to cater for their families due to non-payment of their entitlements, saying that the workers are no longer in the right frame of mind to render services to patients. The former image maker also raised concern about the high level of unreported cases, which he said is on the rise because a lot of persons can no longer access basic health services. The Deputy Governor of Delta State, Monday Onyeme, has commended the Special Marshals of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, for their efforts in traffic management and promoting road safety. Onyeme said this at the 2024 Special Marshals Zonal Conference and Commissioning of Special Marshals Secretariat in Asaba. The theme of the conference was leveraging technology for improved traffic management and enforcement, the FRSC digitalized approach. According to Onyeme, road crashes have reduced, but the numbers remain unacceptably high. Therefore, commuters and transport unions must join hands in awareness and prevention initiatives. The Deputy Governor urged motorists, especially commercial drivers, to adhere to traffic rules, avoid overloading, refrain from using phones while driving, and other factors bedeviling road safety in the country. Meanwhile, the Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC Kano State's Command has inaugurated a clinic for medical emergency response to accident victims. FRSC Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed inaugurated the clinic at the command's headquarters on Saturday in Kano. He said the clinic, named after him, would provide first aid and prompt attention to road accident victims. Mohammed credited the success to collaboration with stakeholders and emphasized adherence to driving rules. He also highlighted the FRSC's mobile application for real-time data and feedback. Sector Commander Ahmed Mohammed lauded joint efforts with stakeholders, while Secretary to Kano State Government, Dr. Abdullahi Bafar, commended the core digital technology focus. The Ogun State Police Command has confirmed the murder of 40-year-old Adeleke Adeyinka, the All Progressives of Congress consulship candidate for Abeokuta South local government. The deceased, the former youth leader of Abeokuta South local government, was aspiring for the post of councillor of Ward 15 in the forthcoming November 16th local government elections. Confirming the incident in a statement, the police PRO Molola Odutola said the perpetrators of the crime, who came in an unregistered Toyota Corolla, fled the scene. Odutola said a shooting incident and murder occurred around 12:30 p.m. The assailants opened fire, killing 40-year-old Adeyinka Adeleke, who was left dead at the scene. A concerned citizens reported that unknown individuals believed to be cultists arrived in a Toyota Corolla sports car, armed with a pump-action shotgun and a pistol. Odutola stated that efforts were ongoing to apprehend the fleeing suspects as investigation had commenced. Adenka was said to be a transport union worker in the Penseka area of Abeokuta during his lifetime. Faisal Ahmed Mohammed Makarifi, son of Ahmed Mohammed Makarifi, former governor of Kaduna State, is dead. A family source who did not want to be mentioned confirmed his death, saying the deceased was involved in an accident. According to reports, the accident occurred along the Kaduna Zaria Highway this evening, yesterday evening rather. He was taken to an undisclosed hospital where he was declared dead. His father was at the hospital and his corpse has been conveyed home for burial arrangements. This is the second tragic incident to befall the family of a top Nigerian this weekend. The group chief executive officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Mele Kyari, had lost Fatima, his 23-year-old daughter, on Friday. Professor Tanko Ishaya, the Vice Chancellor, University of Jos, has decried the paucity of hostel accommodation for its students within the campus. Ishaya said this when members of the set 1988 of the Faculty of Law of the university visited him on Saturday in Jos. Ishaya, who said that the university currently has over 45,000 students, said it was unfortunate that most of them find it difficult to have access to hostel accommodation. The Vice Chancellor also said that the university's electricity bill had skyrocketed to over 80 million naira per month. He, however, said that the efforts were also in place to develop a solar farm to generate power and would serve the institution and its host community. Tanko told the former law students that the university was currently running 78 fully accredited academic programs in 17 faculties. Speaking, Governor Caleb Bothwang of Plateau, a member of the class, promised continued support towards the progress of the institution. Meanwhile, the Godfrey Okoye University, Goni, Enugu, has raised minimum qualification for its lecturers to Doctor of Philosophy PhD from 2025-2026 academic session. The Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Christian Aneke, announced this while addressing academic and senior administrative staff of the university during a spiritual retreat organized for the workers. Aneke directed those with lower degrees to upgrade their qualification or be ready to drop their tools. He explained that the directive was in compliance with the National Universities Commission guidelines. According to him, graduate assistants would not be allowed to teach alone in the class unless the required lecturers were available. While enjoining the workers to take mentorship seriously, the Vice Chancellor warned the officials against abuse of the mentorship program. He announced that henceforth its management would not tolerate missing lectures by lecturers. In a remark, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Professor Mary Silva Nwachukwu, decried the low attendance to lectures by teachers during the first week of resumption of academic activities. Nwachukwu said the university would intensify the supervision of lecturers and fish out those that absent themselves from duties for necessary actions. Governor Umaru Bago of Niger has been honored with the Digital Governor of the Year in category of Digital Literacy of the Nigerian GovTech Conference and Awards 2024. The award, organized by the Bureau of Public Service Reforms, recognized Bago's efforts in promoting digital literacy and leveraging technology to enhance governance and service delivery in the state. Bago, represented by his deputy, Mr. Yakubu Garba, congratulated fellow recipients and thanks to organizers, sponsors, and development partners for their support. He expressed gratitude for the award and pledged to continue promoting technology adoption across all sectors to improve efficiency and effectiveness. Some notable achievements of the administration in digital literacy include training market traders and artisans on technology use in Hausa and Pidgin English. Others were training children aged 10 to 18 years in robotics, Internet of Things, and programming, as well as collaboration with Tech for Deaf to train civil servants on IT. Meanwhile, the Enugu state government has unveiled plans to expand, enhance, and rehabilitate some assets within the state and beyond as a way of transforming Enugu to a premier destination for investment and tourism. This was disclosed by the State Commissioner for Works, Gerald Otiji, at the end of an executive council meeting held at the Government House in Enugu.
Otiji emphasized that the initiative will not only beautify the city, but also improve the quality of life of the citizens and improve the value of property in the state. A key component of the effort, he said, is the urban renewal policy, which involves relocating residents of over 25 identified urban slums in Enugu metropolis, which will commence with 2 pilot schemes. This, he said, demonstrates the administration's commitment to providing a better living environment for its citizens.
It will be education. Smart school will be centered within that vicinity, and CFO will also be issued to the occupants, the families that are being relocated. It's going to be a new model, and we ask our brothers and sisters and family members that live in those areas to cooperate with the government so that they can get the full benefit of this thought-out, deliberate plan of His Excellency's administration.
The state government also approved a real estate development project for a property in Abuja, in line with the government policy of revitalizing dormant assets. Commissioner for Trade, Investment and Industry, Adora Chukwu, highlighted the significance of the project in boosting the economy of the state.
The proposed development model is to build luxury housing units, a total of 43 luxury housing units, which will include high-rise apartments. It will include terrace buildings and semi-detached buildings. Their niche, and the reason why we also consider them, is that their niche is to build luxury estates with considerations for sustainability. So what this will do, of course, we all know that reducing our carbon footprint and also giving considerations to ESG objectives of His Excellency provides immense benefits to the people of Enugu State.
To attract global investors, the Enugu State government plans to digitize land processes, administration, and use through the Enugu Geographical Information System. Commissioner for Lands, Chima Okorie, explained that the digital information will provide a platform for gathering information on properties across the state. Recreational spaces for resettlement programs and sports development opportunities are integral to the urban renewal drive, as explained by the State Commissioner for Sports, who also spoke on efforts to enhance supporting facilities in preparation for the 2025 Enugu Marathon.
I think it's a thing of joy, and we must commend His Excellency the Governor for this level of progressiveness in terms of public housing. Ordinarily, when you talk about mass housing or public housing, there's not very much intentionality about it. So, but in this case, it's been thought through, even to the point of having recreational facilities, to see that that marathon of next year begins to meet those requirements for World Athletics calendar. And further discussions about the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium. So we're fast approaching a point where we'll begin to see physical works.
The state government is urging residents of the state to cooperate with it to ensure that all efforts transform the state.
The place of yam as the king of all crops in Igbo land was made manifest in Enugu State on Saturday as the state government hosted its own version of the New Yam Festival. The occasion, which took place at the Michael Obara Square Independence Layout Enugu, was also an occasion to showcase the rich culture of the people. Correspondent Chinemeremike Bunam reports.
When each community begins to eat the new yam. It is also an occasion during which every traditional ruler and his subjects thank God for seeing them through the farming season and for a bountiful harvest. That therefore explains the large presence of royal fathers and traditional chiefs at the event, which featured displays by masquerades, cultural troupes, and traditional performances from various local governments. Addressing the gathering, the Deputy Governor of Ifeanyi Osai, who represented Governor Pitamba, acknowledged the significance of the festival, emphasizing the need to make it all-inclusive cultural event.
we must encourage our cultural practices. So now make in a special way once more, and then make it organized. Make for all the participants, particularly the different masquerades and music groups that performed. That is what we should market to the world. That is what we should be selling to the world. And I'm happy of New Year Festival by the way. And I'm happy to announce to our people that our government is aggressively investing resources in technology and in infrastructure for agriculture. Yesterday, the Commissioner for Agriculture took delivery of specially built tractors to test run to determine if we are going to procure more. You are also aware that a few weeks ago, our government entered into a relationship with a company that is coming to Tinubu to assemble tractors, not just for our people, but for the rest of the country. We recognize the fact that we can't feed ourselves if we are not making the critically needed investments in agriculture. We are working on a program initiated by our government to ensure that with a minimum of 200 hectares of land, on the average, in every electoral ward, where the newly elected council chairman will partner with our government through the Ministry of Agriculture to get farm settlements, farm clusters, where as a government we are going to till the land for our people and allocate tilled land to them, then offer them inputs and let them tell it. We recognize the fact that all over the world, governments subsidize agriculture in different forms. So ours won't be different. So we are doing everything we can to ensure that we migrate our people from subsistence agriculture to agribusiness. With international airports right in the middle of Enugu State, there is no way why we can feed Europe with agrarian revolution that we're trying to embark on. Some African countries, their GDP is sustained by merely flying flowers to Europe and America. All the flowers you see and the florists, they are not grown in Europe. They are from Kenya and Rwanda. So there is so much in agriculture. We recently passed a law to regulate livestock farms.
Come confirm my very good they say na you dey. As I come call you no go through. I call you they say you no dey. I didn't bother getting back up. I don't know wetin I go maybe I dey sell for
if you close your eyes and our people are the ones supplying it and feeding the country,
how can you go much?
Exponential growth in our economy. So we are doing
how can you want them much when they don't increase until when they want to make it?
Culture and tourism and
Nobody go queue again now. NNPC before they said 840, 850 to 860. Other people they sell 1,000, 1,200. So it's okay to go and buy and full tank. But now we be saying it's down. I think 1,000 something. For NNPC, who want to go queue? Nobody go queue now. And these guys they sell 1,220. Northwest. And that means it's even cheaper because they only sell cheaper than others. So that means these guys. What are 250? Infra, what are 250?
So I selling 130, I'll just park my car. If not for school or along, it's cheaper to go transport. If not for school,
is it cheaper to run transport?
Yes, like for me now. Where they come from, where my office is. Aside from business worker, it's cheaper for me. Yes. With 400 naira, I don't call work, don't work. I trek from Infra to the office and trek back. And that's 200 naira bus to
400?
Yes.
No, direct. Are you taking drop or you're taking along?
Bus, which drop?
Bus from where to where?
I walk out from my house to the bus stop. I take bus to Infra bus stop.
Okay, you walk from that place to the office every day.
What did they do? I do exercise.
30 minutes. How many minutes do you?
11, 12 minutes.
To walk from
now I
there.
walk from Northwest to this office because I go drop shop for my mechanic. The thing came in yesterday late. I leave one part around 8. So I just go to park for a workshop now. From Adorable, from Northwest. Northwest I try to enter here now. You don't reach me 20 minutes, I'm here.
20 minutes.
Is it not part of exercise?
Well, it's part of exercise, but again, for how long?
I know a woman where they work from my area every day. They sell petty every day they see am dey drive as I dey see am. I wan dey stop say where they come from, say they live for Apapa. They should walk am.
Some custodians of culture observe that by bringing together people from various backgrounds, the festival has gone a long way in promoting unity and cultural exchanges.
To recognize the contribution of also me.
Now it is if I do say if I don't see you like I don't buy that shop why buy. And the thing, I want somebody to feed my family first.
Where buy the first?
The one where they pay you so much.
The Coalition of Northern Groups, CNG, has organized a community engagement program to raise awareness on the importance of public participation in tackling insecurity and other challenges facing the country. Chairman of CNG's National Board of Trustees, Mr. Nastura Ashiru Sharif, said in Katsina that the initiative supported government efforts to address pressing issues. The program, with the theme, The Importance of Popular Participation in Tackling Social Economic Challenges in Northern Nigeria, aimed to identify security challenges in Northern Nigeria. To achieve this, he said the CNG engaged retired security experts to study insecurity in the region and provided solutions. The experts presented recommendations for the federal government, state traditional rulers, and the general public. These recommendations were subsequently presented to the National Security Advisor, Inspector General of Police, and other six service chiefs, as well as governors of Katsina, Kaduna, Kebbi, Sokoto, Zamfara, and Niger. Professor Sani Abubakar Luga, chairman of the Occasion and Fifth Mazir in Katsina, emphasized the need for change, citing the decline of the industries and subsequent unemployment. Meanwhile, the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure says it is best or setting its sights on becoming Nigeria's leading innovation and technology transfer agency. The executive director, or the executive vice chairman, and the chief executive officer of the agency, Khalil Halilu, expressed his commitment to transforming Naseni's role in the nation's technological landscape. Halilu said that under this leadership, Naseni has launched 36 market-ready products, including solar and irrigation pumps, electric vehicles, and smart home systems. Halilu emphasized the importance of collaboration in Naseni's recent successes and underscored the partnerships with strategic allies and original equipment manufacturers that have been pivotal in products development. He added that the ambition is not only to enhance Naseni's profile, but also to ensure that its innovations contribute significantly to Nigeria's economic growth. Still to come, politicians pay tributes to former Scotland First Minister. Fuel station explodes in Russia's Chechnya. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Global News on Signature Television. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Scottish First Minister John Swinney were among the leaders who paid tributes to Scottish former First Minister Alex Salmond, who died on Saturday. Salmond, who was 69, helped change the course of Scottish politics and pushed Scotland to the verge of independence from the United Kingdom. Reports say Salmond has collapsed after giving a speech in North Macedonia. Leaders from across the political divide paid tributes to Salmond, a formidable debater who led the Scottish National Party's SNP from 1990 to 2000 and from 2004 to 2014. The independence movements that he led sent shockwaves through Britain's political elites and energized Scottish politics. Pope Francis faced calls to overturn the Catholic Church's ban on gender-affirming care for transgender people when he held talks with LGBTQ activists at the Vatican. The 80 minutes meeting held privately at the guest house where the Pope lives included a Catholic sister who works with LGBTQ people, a member of the transgender community, and a U.S. medical doctor who helps run a clinic providing gender-affirming hormonal care for adults. The unusual encounter was not listed on the Vatican's official agenda of the Pope's meetings for the day. The meeting with around a dozen LGBTQ activists comes 6 months after the Vatican's doctrinal office firmly rejected gender-affirming care, saying it risks threatening the unique dignity the person has received from the moment of conception. LGBTQ groups sharply criticized the Vatican document and said that doctrinal office did not seek input from transgender people about experiences before rejecting gender-affirming care. Francis, who is 87, has been credited with leading the Catholic Church into taking a more welcoming approach towards the LGBTQ community and has allowed priests to bless same-sex couples on a case-by-case basis. But earlier this year, he also used a highly derogatory Italian term about LGBTQ people, for which the Vatican apologized on his behalf.
My story with Pope Francis, and because he's so pastoral, and let him know, really illustrate that our stories are all different and give him another perspective to consider when the church is talking about transgender people and gender. The one message I really wanted to share with Pope Francis was about the joy that I have being a transgender Catholic person, and the joy that I get from hormone replacement therapy and the surgeries that I've had that make me feel comfortable in my body. He was very pastoral, very interested in my story, and it was just a very welcoming atmosphere, and I felt that he wanted to hear everything I had to say. No, I never imagined I would be here. It means the world to me. My faith is so important to me, and even though at times I feel so unwelcome, Pope Francis has always made me feel that I do belong in this church and that I am part of the Catholic faith. And so meeting him, it really means the world to me, and it makes me grateful to be a Catholic.
Yes, I think the message really is that we need to listen to the experiences of transgender people, their families, their friends, their loved ones. We need to get inside of other people's shoes.
It was a wonderful meeting. I shared with the Pope my experience as a healthcare provider, providing care to transgender individuals. I expressed that gender identity is not a choice. Thinking about it as, you know, we don't choose whether we're right or left-handed. We also don't choose our gender. Sure. The Pope was very receptive. He listened very empathetically. And he also shared that he always wants to focus on the person, the well-being of the person. He always...
Two children were among 4 people who were killed on Saturday after a blast at a fuel station in Chechnya, capital Grozny, the Russian region's emergencies ministry say. Authorities said a fuel tank had exploded at the station, resulting in a fire with 5 more people injured. Ramzan Kadyrov, the leader of Chechnya, said in a statement on Telegram that he had taken the situation under his personal control. He said that those responsible for the blast would be brought to justice, but did not give further details. Explosions at fuel stations in the neighboring region of Dagestan in September 2024 and August 2023 killed 13 people and 35 people. Chinese Premier Li Qiang met Vietnam's President To Lam after arriving in the Vietnamese capital Hanoi at the start of a 3-day visit. China and Vietnam are expected to sign new agreements, including pacts to boost railway links and agricultural trade during Li's visits to Hanoi this weekend. 2 people briefed about the plans said on Friday. Seamless rail links are a sign of growing trust between the 2 countries and would be a boost for trade and supply chains as a growing number of Chinese manufacturers move some export-oriented operations to Vietnam amidst trade tensions between China and the United States. The deals, which one of the people said also included agreements on payment systems and customs procedures, could further boost economic ties between the 2 communist-ruled neighbors after a series of high-level meetings and cooperation agreements signed in recent months. Mistrust between the two neighbors, which fought a brief border war in the late 1970s and often still clash over boundaries in the South China Sea, has long hampered progress on rail links, but in recent months, economic considerations appear to have prevailed over security concerns on the land border. And that's the news this hour. Many thanks for watching. Charles Pius is my name. Up next is New Day with my colleague Chiggy and company. Thank you guys for watching.
We need to end it on time so that we can take time to fix
Thank you for watching. Who gave Tinubu T-Pain as a name? Who did that? Who did that? I'm going to ask ChatGPT the origin of T-Pain as a name for Tinubu, and I'll bring in my next live, I'll tell you what ChatGPT says, and also give you some updates on what's going on socials. All right, stay with us. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate